Hello everyone. So we're gonna wait for people to come online. But in the meantime, I'll just do the introduction shortly. Okay, I need to clear my camera. The live video, so you know we are testing. Yes, we are actually live, but there are 0 people online.
Okay.
Can you see? So soon be people online.
Okay.
So I'm using style to wait for them before I introduce you. Hi, Bora. This is Bora.
Hi, Bora.
Hi, she said, Bora says hi, Dad. Okay, there's somebody else online now. Very hi, Mom. There's somebody called Stella Maris online.
Hi, Stella.
And Essay Speaks. Okay, we have 9 people online now.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. Hello, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
So you guys can see I'm not alone. I'm with the coolest. Pastor D is online.
Pastor D.
So I'm with the coolest 60-something-year-old in the whole world. Good to see you.
In your mind.
In my mind. With the coolest 60-something-year-old in the whole world. There's so many messages I can't keep up.
Okay.
So my dad is here. That's all I have to say. I've told you guys my dad's coming. He's in the description box. So I'm just gonna let you introduce yourself. But let me just introduce him a little because I like to brag on my dad. Like, of course, the topic we're talking about today is very important. But the reason why I really wanted my dad here because I really wanted to show him off to you guys. He's like the coolest father in the whole wide world. My father is the biggest retailer of all my books.
Well,
he used to, he helped me fix my hair when I was younger. He never for once said, "Oh, the people that are coming first, are they not your?" But he's always really supported me. Loved my mom, loved my sisters, and my brothers, my sister's husband. So let you introduce yourself. So tell us a bit about yourself.
To I guys, my name is 63 by the special grace of God, husband, father, grandfather, 5. But before I became a grandfather, I was a dad, right?
Yes.
3 lovely girls.
Yeah.
33 to 27?
20-something.
20-something.
Somebody says, "No, I know where your good looks come from." Oh, thank you.
Alright.
And then my dad is also a doctor.
Yeah, I just finished introduction. Okay. My lovely wife is Gloria.
Yeah.
And I have 5 grandkids, age, is it 4?
4 to
like 2 months. And they're all very cool people.
Yeah, and three sons.
Yeah. I forget the sons. 3 sons that came as a bonus. You know, they have to share diapers for them. They have to do any feeding. No waking up at 9.
No pay school fees.
No pay school fees in particular. No pay school fees.
Just received 3 fully grown
3
sons.
full-grown sons.
So,
by the special grace of God. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm a medical doctor. My specialty is public health. I'm still working by God's specialty.
Yay! In fact, the reason why it's in my house is because he's doing some work in Abuja, so we get to see quite often.
Yeah.
So that's really cool.
And she got to mention that I'm staying here free of rent.
I'm always collecting money from him for something. Especially now, my husband, I'm just like, "Daddy, how far?" So, well, I'm just happy to have you anyway.
Yeah.
Happy to have you.
So, I'm really pleased to be here. Really honored to be here.
Somebody said you should give them healthcare tips. Go and pay for healthcare tips.
I can't help you there. I know my clinical practice.
He's now in public
bush
health.
doctor now.
And somebody says our laughter sounds alike.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay, so down to the business of today. You've been a dad. Your oldest daughter is in her 30s.
Yeah.
I'm last. Peace. You've been a dad for over 30-something years. So before we even talk about parenting older children, what would your advice be to dads or to parents in general? What advice would you give based on your experience when it comes to parenting?
Okay, but the special grace of God, I've been a parent now for like 63 minus 33.
I think
30 years.
30?
Yeah?
No.
Yeah, 30 years.
It's more than no.
30
Because
now.
TJ is already 30. And you is 33.
Okay. Oh, 33 years. 33
Yes.
years. Yeah, 33 years. All right. So, it's natural to love your kids. Then so
Yeah.
it comes with being a human being. No, it comes with being any kind of being at all.
Yes. Because even animals
Love their kids. You know, so it's natural to love your kids, and you ask God for that grace to give as much of it as possible. But it's also important to accentuate that love. It's important to also be, from the very beginning, be at the basement in terms of, 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 of how much effort you put into your children's lives.
Okay.
So you have to, from the very beginning, be able to say, okay, oh, these are my kids,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm just 50% of the parenthood,
Okay.
right? So I'm gonna like share the responsibilities. Okay, I won't do any lines anywhere. I'm gonna like do the feeding, do the diaper changing, do the
Okay.
waking up at night, share it with my wife and all that. So that's really key, you know. And the more you put that kind of effort in, the more you love them, right? The more you put that kind of effort in, the more you love them. And then later on in life, when you now remember how much effort you put into just taking care of those basic primordial pleasures, or shall I say satisfactions, the more you realize that you need to love them more as they grow
As they grow older.
Yeah, as they grow older.
Yeah, I think
because
you
then
mentioned.
they're having
Yeah.
more complex emotions, more complex difficulties, more complex problems. So you need to love them even more as they grow older.
Yeah, and I think you
Yeah.
mentioned just before we came online about how even though the child is hungry, you wake up at night just to feed those to do those
Exactly.
basic things.
You do those basic chores when they are young, when they are babies, can't take care of themselves, and those are just the very basic desires.
Yeah.
You know, so if you can do all that when they are young, right, it becomes even easier to remember that, oh, I could do this when she was like 2 years old, when she was like 3 days old, right? Now she's having. Sorry, I'm gonna keep saying she because
You have
of your
daughters.
children, so if you remember that you're able to do those things when they were like just needing to meet those basic desires, right? Now they are older, they have more complex emotions,
Yeah.
right? So it behoves on you to love them even more.
Yes.
Okay? How much you want to make them happy? I think that's where I've been missing out.
Yeah.
How much you want to make them happy? When they were just crying from being wet or from being hungry, being uncomfortable, you want to go out of your way to say, okay, rock them all over the place for hours on end. If you could do that when they were little tots, right? With no emotion beyond being hungry or being uncomfortable, right? It becomes easier for you when they are older.
Yeah.
Able to feel pain, able to feel disappointment, able to feel anger and hurt, right? The question is, how much do you love your child?
I think that's
How much do you want to ensure that you don't do anything that makes them unhappy? Yeah.
I think that's very important, because many times you have, and I'll just use this as a blanket when I say, let me not say Nigerian parents, but many Nigerian parents saying, my responsibility for you is just to provide for you. I don't necessarily have to always be there. But I think you mentioning that your child's emotions are important, that their dreams are important, and you being present is even as important as providing for them.
Absolutely. Gifts are cool, gifts are okay, gifts are fine. But it doesn't really make up for being there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you look at your child and say, God is awesome. You know, just looking at your child, looking at that grow, and you tell yourself, God is awesome. This was an awesome God. I want to go there. I want to hold her. I want to hug her. I want to rock her when she cries. Like I'm saying, you have to be involved in everything.
In everything.
The diaper changing, the hairdo,
Yeah.
the waking up at night, feeding,
all those things,
all those
yes.
stuff. You really have to be involved. And even somebody is trained, but you actually enjoy this stuff.
Yeah.
You actually enjoy being involved in doing all this stuff. And then, you know, when they grow up and you're looking back, look at this one, look at that. You know, it's why would anybody not want that kind of joy?
Yeah, I think the reason why I wanted you on is because I want more men today to be exposed to this kind of thinking, where they don't just feel, oh, my job is just to provide, and then my wife's job is to take care, but to actually see that it's not just a sacrifice, it's actually an honor to be involved in the little things in
it's
that.
something you enjoy, something you can boast about later to yourself, not necessarily to anybody. Something
That's
can
true.
say, oh, I used to do this.
I used to do this.
I used to do this.
Let me tell you guys a story. So when we were younger, we all had really long hair. For some reason, my children don't have hair until they are certain ages. But I and my sisters had really long hair. And my mom once, I'm just like, in fact, people are always crying, I'm going to cut this hair. And my mom is really, really amazing. I have to bring her on this channel if she will agree, because this was a miracle. But I remember my dad saying, oh, don't cut the hair. Teach me how to comb the hair for them. Because then they didn't really used to do attachments for children and so. So teach me how to comb the hair. And so my dad would take the hair He will cut it, not with scissors, but cut it into little portions, and then comb it little by little, and then pack. I wish I had the pictures to get. Pack like 2 horns, and we'll be so excited. Like, oh God, I say, who did your hair? Say, it's my daddy.
Were they horns? They call them bones now, eh?
No, they were horns like this.
The horns,
Horns that those ones that you roll
I think I
like
was
this.
more of the one that comes out like
A bun.
yeah. The one
And
that
funny
comes
enough,
out, you pack it and you hold it back in and you hold it to your left thing back and it comes out like a puff.
donut.
Yeah, like a donut.
But the one I
yeah.
remember, funny enough, was horns. Those ones that you now put the hair bubble at every inch. Anyway, but you did all of them, so.
Yeah, and there's something she's not talking about, all the howling and screaming and yelling and see, she's not mentioning all that.
Well, you know.
When the hair was being combed, I mean,
Did I used to cry?
Okay. Okay, it was your sisters. Yeah.
Well, my sisters I used to cry
Yeah,
happy.
so
So if you're watching this, I didn't used to cry when I was crying my sisters. In fact, there was a time people that used to weave the hair for us. There was a time my sisters, everyone in the area said, "We're not doing your hair."
I don't want to go that way.
So daddy would drive far to where nobody knew us, so that when we cry.
It got to the point where all the hair people, all the hairdressers in the
Yes.
neighborhood knew her 2 elder sisters. And you say, no, keep your money. Keep your money. You don't want your money. So I have to drive them to different places where nobody knew
Oh
them.
my God.
Until the guy used to them and started chasing them away again.
We survived.
And they survived. They survived.
Okay, so down to the business of today. For a parent who is watching this, what advice would you give them when it comes to raising, or let me even say raising, relating with older children? Because you have 3 grown-up children, 3 sons in love. All your children are older. What advice would you give to a parent who is watching this, who has older children?
Okay, so I'm going to be sound like a crack record here. We're going back to the shop. How much you love your child, how much you want her to be happy, you know, so you want to go back there over and over again. So that's where everything starts. You know, you love your child, you want her to be happy, all right? And there are times when you have to do some things that maybe you don't really understand too well, because you just want to accept something because you want her to be happy.
Okay.
Now, as they grow older, they show respect, please. Right? You universally respect everyone.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? Now your kids are older, they are adults, you respect them. You love them, you respect them. And then as they're getting older, they are getting into some zones where you are becoming, especially the girls and the dad, you are becoming not as important in some ways as it used to be. Let me elaborate a bit here, right? Because it was a little bit difficult, you know. So as you grow up, you're loving them.
I just remembered one room more.
You're respecting them, right? But you're also preparing yourself for the day when you might become
the second man in their lives.
Do
you know that daddy cried at all our weddings? That's a rumor.
Because we talk about okay, it's a rumor.
It's a rumor. It's a rumor with pictures as
Go ahead,
evidence.
spread the rumor. Go ahead, spread
It's a rumor with pictures as evidence that daddy cried at all our weddings.
So in any case, so you love your child. As you grow older, you show the kind of respect you want to show to every other adult. That's really important. And then there's going to come a time when are we talking about when they're leaving home there?
No, whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah, you also want to prepare your mind for when you now go from number 1 in your lives to number 2. Right. I remember fact one of my daughters had to actually remind me. Your daughter has a boyfriend now. You don't want to. She said him so much love, so I forgave her. I still forgive her. I won't mention it. They know themselves.
I don't think I'm the
one of them is a pastor. They know themselves.
I don't remember saying that. So basically, it's about respecting your children.
Love your kids from there. You keep loving them. Then they're getting older. They also desire. It's also important to respect them.
Yes.
To respect them. And then they are getting older. They are getting private in some ways. You have to understand that. Okay. There are areas where they want to keep some things to themselves until it's time to tell you.
Okay.
Right, you have to respect that. Okay? So it's really important. Love them, respect them, let them have their space when they have to. Right? and most of all, be available. Always be there. Always be available to talk, to receive calls, to discuss things. You know, be available. Show respect. Love your kids.
And another thing, I wanted to go us to be a bit more specific. So let's talk about. We're going to talk about this in two ways. If you have children who are married, what are some things? There's some examples you mentioned just before we came live. If you have children who are married, in what ways can you be intentional about relating with them? That's one. And in what ways can you be intentional about relating with their spouses as well?
Excellent. I'm happy about this because, like I said earlier, I started with 3 daughters. I had 3 additional sons for 1 year to pay the school fees, which I didn't have to bring up. So it's really important. We started with loving them, respecting them. Now, if you tell yourself that once your daughter or your son gets married, you are getting another child, and that's where it starts from. You love your daughter because, well, you are the dad. You're gonna love a husband, right? Because your daughter loves her. So that leaves you with absolutely no choice. Okay? You want to love your daughter, you love your new son because the daughter loves her. And then show an awful lot of respect. Okay? And then try to be as unintrusive as possible. Right?
So giving them that privacy.
Give them privacy, don't get in their way, don't get in their faces. I'll give you an example. We have 5 grandkids by God's grace, and of course, when the time comes, when the baby comes, they say, Dad and Mom, what name do you have? What's your name? For the child. Now, so we've sent at least 5 names, have you?
Yes.
You can't remember one or two. So I actually struggle to remember the names we send because we don't actually call them by those names. We just send them because they say, okay, this is what grandparents do.
Yeah.
We send names, right? But we don't call, even in private, we don't call them by those names. We call them by the name that the parents call them. So that's what I mean when I say just an example of respecting your grown-up child.
Yeah.
So it's really key. Be available to assist. All right, in any way that they want. All right, they might call you for advice.
Yeah.
But don't go about bargaining and making it about you. Because it's not about you.
Yeah, I think it's more because you have quite a number of marriages that have broken up because the parents either of the husband or the wife just want to be too involved in the marriage. Of course, there are 1 or 2 situations that we don't pray for where maybe there's physical or emotional abuse, but most times if you leave your children be, they're going to resolve their issues in marriage.
They're going to sort themselves.
But okay, what about now we've talked about married kids, but what about children who are not married, who are grown up
and they're still living with you,
but they're still living with you? How do you let me I know we didn't even rehearse this one, but let's talk about dealing with children from teenage age to young adult age to just that phase.
Let's start from when it's time for you to start dating them.
Okay. Okay, let's start from there.
Let's have a chance for you to start dating them.
Yeah.
Right? As a parent, you enjoy doing all those chores. But there comes a time when it's time to now let them have their space in terms of what age was that? When did I start dating you guys?
I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah, but I think it came kind of naturally.
Yes.
At the point where, okay, they cannot be themselves, let them be themselves, right? Yeah, and there are other things that have to come naturally, right? You don't bag into their room, especially if they are girls, right?
Yes.
You don't bag into their room as they get older. You don't bag into their room without knocking.
Yeah.
And then it's also important, right? The kind of example is you set. I remember this particular situation when one of the rules we had was from the very beginning.
Yeah.
That one, when you're in the car, you must sit at the back until you're old enough to properly wear a seatbelt.
Yeah.
And well, God forgive me, there was always this lie about, okay, if you sit in front,
police will catch you.
Which is what they're supposed to do actually.
But Nigerian police will
so it was always there was this, and there's a bit of, and this is literally one system too. There was 1 or 2 things in the house. You don't wear makeup until you brought your,
I think it was
your admission.
I think yes, 100 level or something.
No, 100 level, okay. You don't wear makeup until you've gotten your admission letter to university.
Eh.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
And then you don't
And it's
drive
something they now look
until.
so it's something they now look forward to. Okay, I can now start wearing makeup. Well, one or two of them wouldn't wear makeup anyway on the day. Like I said, I won't be mentioning names here. And then also you don't learn how to drive until you graduated.
Yes.
Okay? So there's always that promise of, okay, when I graduate, daddy teach me how to drive. I thought everyone in my household had to drive except one person who wasn't really a car person.
Who is
So
just
I
becoming a car person.
He's just becoming a car person. I left down, like you said, won't be mentioning any names. Okay? All right. But there was always this thing to aim at. Okay, when I get an admission letter to university, I can now still make up. When I graduate, daddy teach me how to drive.
Yeah.
And there was a promise kept for everyone from my wife. I didn't have to wait for her to finish university.
Of course.
I told my wife how to drive. The two other girls also told them how to drive. Right? The third one, I'll share their own priorities.
Let's continue.
Yeah. So like I was saying, you have to set an example in the house. From when they are little thoughts, right? You will set an example. It's not about what you say, right? Children look at what you say, that's okay.
Yeah, and then
what you do.
exactly.
Okay? And it's important to have that kind of peace in the house where situation where you don't actually little parents, you don't do all kind of horrible stuff in front of the kids.
Yes.
No screaming, no shouting, show respect, show love. What they see is what they do. Right? Then let me give an example. Right? Two examples actually. While the kids were growing up, I had a practice. I was even quite close to the practice. So I was able to come in and out, okay? Come into the house, go back to the clinic. So this particular day when I think I actually came in to put on the gem for them.
Okay.
And go back to the clinic. Or was it? No, I think it was something else. Okay, I think I had a call from the clinic. I had a call.
Okay.
I immediately jumped, put on my shirt and jumped down. And there was this little 5-year-old that was asking me, Daddy, where do you think you are going? Without saying it, you can just walk out like that. So it was the rule that you don't go anywhere without saying, okay.
This is where I'm going to. And this was something that my parents eventually also did.
Like I said, I'm not mentioning names, but there was this 5-year-old that said,
I can't remember. I don't think I'm the one.
I can't remember. Okay, all right.
Why should you go out?
Now, it goes beyond that. The other example I want to take is my eldest daughter. She was in university somewhere in Delta, and then she wanted to attend a wedding in Warri. I remember very clearly. It was in 2005, right? My wife was I was in Gombe. Mommy came to visit in Gombe,
okay,
where I was working at that time. And from Abraga to Warri is like 15 minutes.
It's not more than
about
15 minutes.
And Alero gave us 3 months notice about this wedding.
Wow.
That she had to attend in Warri. She could have gone from Abraga to Warri 7 times in one day.
Yes, and
without everybody knowing, but just because it was important to do this, right? So even now, if I'm to travel, right? I do a lot of traveling as part of my work. If I'm to travel from here to maybe Lagos, I have to call.
Everybody
has to know.
Yeah. Even if I'm traveling, like I think last
everybody has to know
2 weeks ago I was in Benin,
Yeah.
and I told, of course my husband had enough notice.
Yeah.
I even told the team, so Mom is going to Benin,
Yeah.
and then I called you, I told you, and then I told them, Mommy, I think it was only TJ that didn't know.
Yeah.
But not just, I think what you're saying is have rules, but you also keep the rules.
Keep to the rules,
because don't just be a parent who says do what I say, not what I do, and this is the reason why you must do this is the reason. You don't need any reason rather to do what I'm telling you to do. I think many times.
About setting the example.
Yeah, I think many times you guys would communicate to us and explain to us and say, okay, this is what is going on.
Yep.
This is why maybe for now we can't afford this. This is why we're making this decision.
Yeah.
I remember before my 10th birthday, I really wanted a party.
There was a real deal maker in your house.
I really wanted a party.
Somebody will come and say, that is their money.
So that I would just ask if there was money, so that I would now know whether or not to ask for money. So like, it's their money.
That is their money.
It's their money.
Okay, exactly what.
So I think because many
10-year-old,
yeah.
5, 6, 7-year-old.
Yeah.
That is their money.
So I think many times parents are afraid to be vulnerable with their children, and so they just say, you must do this. This is why you must do this. But I think many times you guys will communicate to us about why some things are important, and children tend to be more obedient that way. I don't
when
think
you understand
when
why.
you understand
Exactly.
why.
Yeah.
And many times you guys never actually stopped us from. Of course, some of us were more sharp-mouthed than some other of us, but you never really stopped us from asking questions.
Yeah.
From saying, okay, why is this particular way? Because someone just say, oh, go and sit down, you ask many questions, or keep quiet. But being open with your children actually protects them. I remember one time I saw, I don't know if you remember, I saw condom.
Okay, yeah. The condom thing.
Yes, in my parents' drawer.
Yeah.
Oh God. And then they were doing this gold circle advert. And all the people who were using condom were bad boys. And I remember the way I felt. Like my father had betrayed me. Like I just showed. I said, Mommy. At first I didn't watch her. I was like, Mommy, see. And she nodded, no, it's not what you're thinking. And she took her time to explain to me.
Yeah.
Some people will say, oh, drop that. What are you doing? But I think just basically teaching your children. Like my parents would never say, if a boy touches you, you get pregnant. If we had friends who were guys, one mom would say, okay, they can come and visit you. No boyfriend yet. But if you have a friend who is a guy, he can come and visit you. I will be here and he's visiting you. And so just giving your children that opportunity to be free. But still maintaining that discipline, that balance, because many times you have children who hide things from their parents, and so if you teach them to be open with you from when they are younger,
if you don't keep them close to you and let them ask questions and explain things,
exactly,
the older they grow,
the farther
will they
yeah,
and
exactly.
you don't believe me, you don't want that. You don't want that.
True.
No matter what the situation is, you want your children to be able to approach you.
Exactly.
We don't want them going away from
you.
You don't want them going away from That's
so
really, really important.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Then let's also still in line with the same discussion. What if you've raised a child a particular way, and the child is an adult now and seems to be going a totally different way? As a parent, how do you handle that?
Okay. I'm gonna try, but this is kind of difficult because situation we are not already been. Okay? But I think there's some things that parents need to put in mind. What do you consider as a big deal?
You are going to break some tables now.
What do you think? What do you consider as a big deal? What is what making a federal case of?
Okay.
And what are the things that you can just say, okay, these are what kids do these days. Look, you have a son, for instance, who comes here one day and he says it's all braided. And he's wearing an earring. But in the morning, you see join the family for devotion.
Daddy, you're so forward thinking.
Yeah.
Even me, I don't know if I can do that.
In the morning, see join the family for devotion, right? He sticks to the rules and stuff that you all grew up with.
Yeah, go to church, not responsible.
But he's not a serial killer. He's not a committed rapist, for everyone's sake. And he's going to go to church on Sunday. And beyond the fact that his brother is wearing earrings,
there's really nothing.
So parents have to learn what to make a big deal of, really. You know, and I tell you, some guys look really cool in the braids.
Yeah, some do.
And even the earrings, especially if it's only.
But I hope no son of mine wear earrings. That's my duty.
So it's about parents really putting things in perspective.
Yeah.
Right? What do you want to worry about? You can't worry. You keep being such
making a federal case
out of every little thing. You're gonna chase this guy away. Or this young lady, you're gonna chase away from you. And you don't want that. Okay? So make up your mind that some things you just gloss over and even laugh about. Right? And the really major things are the things you want to worry and pray about.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
That's where it's really important.
I think maybe not even worry, but really pray about.
Pray about. I worry in terms of this is a concern, I need to pray about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But the little things, braids, earrings, I think they actually do very cool.
I don't like earrings. But I think that's very important. And for anybody who's watching this who maybe has children who have gone astray, just understand that Don't worry, somebody's asking the question about career choices. Daddy and I have that question in our list. We're going to answer that. Yeah. But for a parent who's going through that, just understand that you can't go wrong with love and prayer.
Absolutely not.
You can't go wrong with being there for this child.
No way.
Especially if you have an adult child who is going, maybe not even in the simple things like grades, but who's really going afar from what you've taught them. Yeah. The place of prayer, the place of love for your child, you can't overestimate that. And just know that even if you think prayer and love are not going to work for any reason, they will, but they are definitely more effective than always screaming and pushing the child away and saying, I will disown you. Yeah. Because some parents have really good children who want to make, I think we should just go on to the career choices now. You're a doctor, none of your children are doctors.
And that's cool.
So what do you think about parents making career choices for their children? What's your opinion on that?
Okay. Again, I think parents worry too much in this area. To start with, first of all, it's about getting an education.
Yes.
Right? It's about getting, that's the first thing, it's about getting an education. Just because somebody read building tech doesn't mean you'll become what they call being people that read building tech.
Building tech technologists.
Right?
Oh, builders.
God might going to be a pastor.
Like somebody I know.
Like somebody we know, we both know. I might end up being a very, very good, very, very highly anointed pastor, right? So first of all, it's about getting an education. That's the first thing. Parents worry too much about too many little things. Then next, it's about allowing the child to prayerfully make his or her own choices, and you put in that support. Prayerfully supporting the child. Okay? I'm a doctor. None of my there's a doctor, I mean. But that one is what they call this one.
PhD doctor.
But that was a PhD doctor.
Yeah, you have a PhD doctor and a PhD son who are married to each other.
So it's about just supporting, just providing support. And just because and mostly, you know what parents have, when parents have issues with this thing, it is when the child comes and says, I want to be an artist, I want to be a singer, I want to be a pastor, that's when parents are wondering, okay, how are they going to eat? We know food that pastors eat very well, they're able to take care of themselves, okay? Yeah. So first of all, it's about getting an education, right? Child might read biology and end up being something totally different. So it's about, first of all, about getting an education, and then about supporting your child through the course that they've chosen for themselves.
I think that's very important. I think I wanted to add something. Yes, and then just really understanding that times are changing. Times are changing, not that values are changing, but that the opportunities that were the opportunities 10, 20 years ago are not the same opportunities.
That's what I'm saying, about just getting an education first. Yes. Get an education. That doesn't really mean, like you said again, building technologists, right? We know one who never stepped on a beer since he left school, right? But we know he's doing very well, by special grace of God.
Special grace of God, So I think just another thing is actually getting involved a little. If your child says, for example, like I know somebody who I won't, of course I'm not mentioning her name, whose dad says the guy he does coding, he's a software developer, but the father doesn't understand why he's on his computer from morning to night every day. It's like, fully grown man like you, why don't you go out and get a job? And the guy is doing so well.
And anyone from who want to do that?
But he keeps comparing him with the guy who is a banker.
Yes, who's stuck in traffic. Yes. Who has to wake up at 5 a.m., spend how many hours in traffic, and gets home at 10 p.m. and goes straight to bed and crashes.
So I think getting yourself involved in getting to know your child and just really being there. Because you now get to know, okay, this is what they do, this is what it actually means. Like you being on my YouTube channel says a lot. Because you and you're doing so well.
I am.
You're doing incredibly well. But let me take a step back a little and talk about your growing up was not really. There was an example.
Not exactly.
But let me say what we said to get to that point. For somebody who says, well, my father was not really somebody who would call me down or come on my YouTube channel or start gisting with me. How can I be a better parent even though maybe I didn't really have that? Or not me, but the person says, I come from a polygamous home. How do I show love to my partner in an environment that is conducive for my children? I think maybe you can talk a little bit about that.
So again, we go back to this crack record, right? How much you love your son, your children, how much you love your partner. Okay? That's really important. Like you said, my dad loved us, right? He would take a bullet for any of us, right? Bless his soul. But it really wasn't a really approachable time. It's not a sort you could go to and say, daddy, I have something to talk about. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? And of course, the issue of earrings and brains. There's an example that I think we mentioned earlier.
Yes, I wanted you to mention that.
I just finished medical school. That was long before your time, of course.
Yes.
And I was at home for a couple of months before starting my internship. And
I think you're even younger then than I am now.
Yes, I was
25
or thereabouts. So I sent my my youngest brother, Mugbe, bless his soul, late now, to go to Papa and say, Papa, please, when you're done with today's paper, can you send Mugbe
to bring it
to me so I can also read it? And Papa very politely sends for me and says, yeah, you want the newspaper? I said, yes, I sent Mugbe. Yes, okay. Yeah, so actually, when you send Mugbe to come and bring newspaper, you also sending me on an errand. I said, no, Papa, no, I didn't say you should bring it. I said, Mugbe should bring it. He said, yeah, I understand. He was smiling a bit now.
Yeah.
You know, this mischievous smile. I said, yes, actually, but when you send him, okay, you mean I should have just come? I said, okay, well, of course, needless to say, I never said Mugbe again. I'll go myself, okay? But that was a different kind of generation. It was a different generation. Like I said, Papa loved us.
Yeah.
Really did love us. But you saw it's what I'm talking about. So I think that one probably also influenced my own approach towards my kids. Right?
Positively,
I wanted that. I wanted to be able to come, right? We could talk, we could tell stories, we could even crack some really expensive jokes.
Yeah.
You know. So I think it's important for parents to leave themselves open for that kind of approach. It's really important. Let them be able to come there, because if they come to you, this guy that Coach Bomber, what's his name again? This guy that was on a bomb that.
I don't remember his name.
This guy was a bomb that is in jail in the UK, in the US.
The Nigerian guy that was
yeah.
that Christmas day.
Yeah, he's somebody who was sorry. I don't think he had any kind of relationship with his parents. You know, he would be in Dubai, he would be in some of his parents or something. So I don't know whether that's a class example, but it's important you keep your children close to yourself, right? For better, for worse, let them be able to relate to it. That's really important.
Yes. And then, of course, discipline is also really important. And then there's something else we also talked about maintaining a united front when it comes to discipline. Let me give you guys an example. Like when we were younger, you know how you watch some movies where they are punishing one child, the father will say, why are you punishing him? No. When we were younger, if mom is punishing you, kneel down there. Then you just come from work, say, hey, what did you do? You tell him, say, okay. And then he will now go inside. He's not even going to be involved in that conversation. I remember being in secondary school, people would say, my mom gave me money. I now went to meet my dad. My dad now gave me another money. My house. It was never like so that I want you to talk about, first of all, having a united front when it comes to discipline and raising your kids, and then why a good marriage is extremely important and keys to building a good marriage.
First of all, there is it's very close to me that the baby is born today. When the baby is born, even today, he didn't come to this world without anything, without some form of empowerment. God wouldn't send him the baby to this world without some form of empowerment, without some kind of weapon, you know. And the baby that is born today knows that if he cries, right, you don't get something. That's the kind of weapon that God sent into the world with. So children can very easily, very quickly discern any kind of friction, any kind of crack, you know. And they'll just grab it that opportunity, and you know. So it's important. You have to maintain that front. It's really, really important. When they see a little shift from either of the parents, they know
who to go for.
They know to go for. So that united fronting was very, very deliberate, and something which we discussed. Right? It's really key. Right? It was really deliberate. Okay. Well, I didn't always agree with my wife is, well, should I say a bit on the strict side of it?
Well, mom is like the bad cop, but she's a really good cop. But the way they used to make it anyway, mom is God, she watched this video. She's not, when I say bad cop, I don't mean like she's bad cop. Like when you're playing good cop, bad cop, mom will be like the bad cop.
Yeah, but we're
I
not
think
doing
mom
good
is,
cop, bad cop. They will not do-
yeah,
That's it.
but mom is like, I think mom is stricter.
Yeah, stricter.
But funny enough, I have a really amazing relationship with my mom. I think maybe if not for mom's strictness, I don't know if we would have been as disciplined.
Exactly.
So I think it was,
so it's, we didn't always agree on the specific aspects, but we never really, that things maybe we'll discuss later.
In private.
But never, ever, don't ever come and say, oh, why is she kneeling down? Why is she doing this? After what did she do? Oh, is it this little thing? Yeah, it's important to me that you got united from.
Yeah,
absolutely.
exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's really, really, really important. There was something else. Okay, I just wanted to just throw in some things before I forget, because I'm also supposed to talk to people about relating with their own parents as well. So being the younger person, let me just throw some tips on that. So if you're an older person who says, oh, my parents don't understand me, I think it's also important that you understand your parents. Like my mom and I were really, really good friends, but there were times when growing up that I was like, hey, this to myself in my mind. But what I now began to do was to observe and understand her and know how best to communicate with her.
Yeah.
And I think that if you take out time to understand your parents, you might be able to relate with them better. You might be able to know what words to use with these parents to get the best results and what words to avoid. You might be able to know how best to communicate some things with them. So don't just, oh, mom is just so, or dad is just so. Just learning to understand them. When you understand people, you can begin to make excuses for them. Like I remember I had missed my flight to Benin 2 weeks ago, and then I was supposed to come back. I had gone by road. I was supposed to come back to Abuja, but the person who, my host in Benin, was like, you're not going to miss your flight. And so 30 minutes to my flight time, I still wasn't at the airport, and my mom called me, and I said, when I call mom, my mom is going to say, you missed your flight yesterday, why are you not at the airport? So I didn't want to speak. Then she called again, so I called, and she said exactly the same thing. And I wasn't offended because I knew that that was her own way of showing love and care for me, that you know what happened yesterday, just be extra careful. So understanding your parents is so important. Another thing is being responsible, because we have children nowadays who say, my parents won't let me be, they don't know I'm grown. The way people know that you are grown is not, the way people know that you are mature is not by you talking about it, it's by you acting it. Because your parents, of course they love you, but they are more likely to support what you are doing when they see how responsible you are in that particular direction. So it's important not that you now say, we're not talking about marriage, but not the way you now say, oh, my parents don't want me to marry this person, but yet your parents are still, you say you want to get married, but your parents are still the one feeding you, clothing you, you are still living off them. Do you understand? And then you're a guy and saying I must marry. So all those things, being responsible helps. No matter how difficult you might think your parents are, being responsible gives them a certain level of respect for you. Of course, some parents are easier to deal with than some others, but being responsible is also important. And then take good advice. Because sometimes you want to be like, oh, I'm grown, I don't want to listen to my parents. But sometimes your parents will give you really good advice. And so it's important that when they do give good advice, you listen to them. But if you're always on the defensive, they've come again, you may never really get the good advice that would be required. You may not even get good advice that they are putting out there. I know that some parents are more difficult to deal with, but these things will help. Love them, honor them. Some parents might need your help financially than some others. Like my parents, they work, they earn more money than me, but I still try to do some little things once in a while. But the important thing is, whatever it is, whether in your finances, as much as you can, as much as is required, in the way you talk to them, in the way you talk about them, show honor. I think that's very important. But then let's get into this major gist about my parents don't want me to marry this person.
All right, and I had one because I never was in that situation.
And I want to know, because your children married from different. You have a son-in-law who is
United Nations.
who is from Nasarawa State.
Yes.
So how, and you're Shekiri.
Yes.
Your wife is Robo.
Yes.
You have son-in-law. So what? let me let you talk about that.
Okay. Yeah. First of all, as a parent, I assume that you pray about this, okay? You have sons or daughters, you pray that, okay, one day will come, when the time comes, they come and say, okay, I've met this guy, I've met this girl. So assume that for his being a prayer point, right? So when when she comes and says, I met this guy, right? Of course, you want your first thought to be, well, he's saved, Daddy. I assume he's saved, Daddy. All right, okay, he's saved. And okay, you love him a bit, right? So once I get those two out of the way, I get grace out of relief. Okay? So now, you be praying about this, right? And then she now comes down and says, I met this guy. He's saved and she loves him. And then you start looking at other things. You start wondering, okay, where does he work? How much does he earn? What kind of car does he drive? What kind of house does he own or doesn't own? And then you're looking at all those potential negatives. And it's like, you've been praying for this. And God doesn't do things by house. Okay? Suddenly a prayer happened for you for maybe a few years. And the time comes, and because your mind is on other things, let's not forget he's saved and you love him. But you're not looking at other potential negatives. It's like asking God, did you really say?
Like not trusting God to answer a prayer.
Exactly. It's like asking God, did you really say that? So I think it's important to know fully well that where that young man might be now, it's not necessarily where he's going to be in another 2, 3, 4 years. I can tell you, guys. I can tell you. Right? I can tell you. Okay? Just take it from me. Okay? So as a parent, again, you love your child. You love your child not to make her unhappy. Right? So if you go rock that child when she was 3 days old because she was wet, right? And didn't have any other emotions apart from that of discomfort and expressing it by crying. Now she has really complex emotions, and she actually comes to say she loves this guy, he's born again, and she wants to marry him. And then you are not going like, where is he from? What tribe is he?
Because when it comes down to it, you don't gauge character by tribe.
Exactly.
There are some people that are from our own tribe that are horrible. There are some that are not, that are amazing. There are some that are pretty amazing. So it comes down to, does this person belong to the bloodline of Christ? Exactly. Is this person a believer in Jesus, and what's their character? Exactly. Because if you just marry your child off to, remember, all the mommies that will say, why do you want to marry this guy? Does he have money? When you met your own husband, he may not have had anything. Do you understand? Or the fathers who will say, why do you want to marry this guy? When your wife met you, you know how you were. And many of us chose our spouse. Many of us daddies and mommies chose our spouses probably by ourselves. But somehow you feel that if God will tell you about your own spouse, God will still tell you about your child's spouse. Why don't you trust God to also tell your child about their own spouse? So I think just understanding that there's more to people than tribe. There's actually nothing about it's just God doesn't let you to come from a particular place. But when it comes down to it, it's about the fact that does this person believe in Jesus? Because if you're honest with yourself, there are people in that your tribe that are horrible. In fact, there are people that are from so-called reputable families that you don't want to come in contact with. So that person as an individual, some might say, I don't want my child to marry from a broken home, but it's possible that you yourself are from a broken home and doing well in your marriage. So it comes down to judging people based on the content of their character, based on their faith in Jesus, and just knowing that you don't want to push your child away. Knowing that that place of prayer, saying, oh Lord, I trust you, and even if for any reason this is a mistake or whatever, I know my child will be fine. But praying, of course, that is not a mistake. But this idea of being in your children's face about choosing a spouse for them is not healthy, and it's going to hurt your relationship with them. There are people who would choose a person. I've seen situations where this person loved somebody that was responsible of the Lord, but the parents said no, for no reason, just said no. And then the person marries a person of their choice and ends up regretting
as a parent, you can't always be about you. Okay? It was about you when you were getting married. Okay? But it can't always be about you. Okay? You pray about it. Just come with the guy. He's saved. She loves him. He loves her. Leave the rest to God. She's responsible. Leave the rest to God. Of course, she trusts God that you're not going to bring someone else. Leave the rest to God and just move on.
I think so. Because there are people who maybe their children went on to marry somebody, and then even now, because they married somebody you don't like, you don't have a good relationship with them. And that's sad, because you may go to be with the Lord sooner than you think, or anything can happen. So you want to make sure that you don't have any regrets going forward. I'm not saying just allow your children run wild, but like Daddy said, you have to trust that the values you instilled in them when they were younger will keep them as they grow older. I think that's extremely important. Daddy, we didn't really talk much about marriage. The reason why I want you to touch on this, I'll explain why is I've had daddies in your generation, not all, but quite a number, who see loving their wives or honoring their wives as a form of weakness, or who see faithfulness as so you know, some people tell you all men cheat, things like that. So the reason why I really wanted you to be here was for daddies around your age. What advice would you give to them? And for younger men who may not have had that picture of a man loving his wife growing up, what advice would you give to them?
I'm going to go back to that crack record again. Crack record. How much you love your wife, right? How much you love your family, right? And then how much respect you accord your wife, right? And the rest of the family. You know, you are the airport luggage, and then you open that swinging door, and then the stranger coming and you hold that door, so it doesn't slam in their faces. Okay? You can do that for a stranger, right? What can you do for your wife, right? Why should loving your wife, right? Whom the Bible says you should love as Christ loved the church. Why should obeying that injunction from Christ be a sign of weakness, like I don't see the point at all. You know, I don't see the point. For me, the wife is the wife, and I assume she's also your best friend.
Because your wife is your best friend.
You know, so it's you love your wife, you respect her because it comes naturally to you, because Christ decreed it.
So even in the times where you don't feel it naturally, you have to make that effort to show it.
Because it's a decree from Christ.
I think that's really the summary of everything. So loving your wife because God commands it, and knowing that God will not command you to do anything that He has not given you the power to do, and that might require many times as a man a level of humility. Because she may not always be deserving of the love, so to speak, but for the sake of your wife, for the sake of the marriage, and like we said, you and mommy still have a good relationship even though all the children are out of the nest. Because what some couples do is since they don't invest in the marriage, they just invest in the children. And when the children are out of the house, they realize, because they don't really have that relationship with their spouse. So even though raising children is important, giving the marriage priority is also really, really important. Do we have any questions? I'm going to ask Daddy to just pray with us, to pray with everyone represented and our parents and our families. But if you have any questions, just put them down as soon as Daddy is done praying. By then, hopefully, we would see the questions. Over to you.
Father, we thank you for this very special day.
Thank you, Lord.
This day that you have brought to pass. We thank the Lord Almighty for everything we've said today, for every insight you've given us, every bit of wisdom you've given us.
Yes, Lord.
We thank the Lord God Almighty because you've taken absolute charge to the Lord God
Amen.
Almighty. And everything we've done today has been to your honor and to your glory.
Amen.
Thank you, Lord God Almighty. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Yes, God.
Amen. All right, do we have any questions? Let me look at the comments to see if we've got any questions. Okay. All right, these are comments. Okay, that marriage issue. So in case you have more questions about parents and marriage and everything, I have a video, my parents say I shouldn't marry him, where I address this in detail. So if you have any questions, you can watch that video. My mom should be in town end of June. I'm hoping to bring her on board if she agrees. So it's really be nice to have her. Daddy, I want to say thank you so much. I know this was out of your comfort zone, but you did so well. And I'm so proud of you. Thank you. Thank you.
God bless you.
Somebody is saying, what do you do when your daddy says you should not get married until you are done with PhD? No. Should I answer that one? Somebody says, what do you do when you know somebody is the one for you and your parents want somebody else? I answer this question because I don't want us to just give a one-line answer that will make you just make any decision. Sometimes you may need to say, for peace sake, I'm going to let the relationship go. Some other times you can walk around it. So watch that my video. My parents say I shouldn't marry him. I think that would answer your question more. But what this PhD thing? I don't know.
I don't know.
It's probably you can start.
It's actually the parents making it about themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what can she do? Because she's not the parent. You can maybe get your parents to watch this video if they will agree.
Yeah.
You can pray about it, and
Why can't she get money and continue the PhD?
and what
That's
exactly?
Yeah.
No, I say what can she
Yeah.
do? Because I don't say what can the parents do. The parents have their own. That's why I want them to watch this video. But you can actually, if you're actually interested in getting a PhD, you can start the PhD process and then bring up the matter again. That's if you're interested in getting a PhD.
Yeah.
But a PhD is a long thing. So
Yeah.
if you've
4, 5,
already
6, 7
graduated,
years,
you
yeah.
already have a master's degree,
Yeah.
you might need to put your foot down and say, I'm already too old for this.
Yeah.
Because really, do you understand? But if you actually are interested in getting a PhD, you can start applying. If you have somebody who's interested in marrying you, as you're applying, you can tell them, see you, as we're doing PhD, we're getting married, or at the
It's probably
same
say
time.
better if I didn't have a PhD. You didn't get your own PhDs
Before he got married. So I think there are times where you might need to put your foot down with some
Yeah.
certain parents who may not always listen as it were. But we just trust that God will give you wisdom to make the right decisions going forward. Somebody said, is it not painful that after you have sent a child to school, you now say you want to be a footballer? It can be heartbreaking, or it depends. So there are some it's as I don't really know football.
Trust God.
There are some footballers today that you will be happy that thank God this one is not a doctor, because
They know that.
he can pay several doctors.
Yeah, I know that.
But I think advice. I think
Yeah.
when your child gets older, you move from instructing to advising.
Yeah.
You move from instructing to advising. You give options. But when it comes down to it, I think there's a level of blind faith you must have in your children, because
in the end,
because
after all else
after all is said and done,
just trust God.
you don't want to be on the other side of his success story when he's actually a successful footballer and he says, my mother never believed in me. You want him to say, oh, against all odds, she did. And even if you want to be there for the child, so that even if the child doesn't succeed at that thing, you are still a shoulder for the child to cry on and to not advise him
and get to move on.
On. But you don't want to be on the other side where you're like, oh, she didn't believe in me, she never did. You don't want to be that. Alright, thanks guys. Don't forget to subscribe and then click the bell beside the subscribe button so you can know when next I'm live or when I have a new video. And just help me say thank you to Daddy.